Hello everyone, and welcome to the 3D Experience DraftSight session. My name is Brian Vanass, and I'm an application engineer for the DraftSight team here at Dassault Systems, and it is a pleasure to be here with you today. Over the next 40 minutes or so, we'll take a dive into the details of 3D Experience DraftSight to show you how the combined power of DraftSight and the 3D Experience platform can provide you with a single cloud-based environment to truly meet all your needs for collaboration.
To start off, let's briefly talk about 3D Experience DraftSight and some of the common myths that we've associated when we talk about CAD and data management. 3D Experience DraftSight at a very high level is a single solution that allows you to design, manage, and share all of the drawings and data created inside of DraftSight, as well as imported from other applications. So, let's mention a few myths that we have commonly heard and that some of you may have encountered in your workplace. First, data management is time-consuming and costly. Another common myth is that project management requires a different application, some sort of different program, whether that be on the cloud or on the desktop. And the third myth that I'd like to point out is that working on the cloud is difficult, in some cases, impossible. Well, I'm here today to show you that all of these myths can easily be busted when we talk about 3D Experience DraftSight. There are, of course, common challenges in the industry. We know that when we work with drawings, there's a lot more than just creating that drawing and sending it out. There's review processes. The drawings have to be ready for production. They have to be ready for construction, for wiring, and inspection. There's quite a lot of detail and process involved between the time that you create a drawing and by the time the drawing is completely released and ready. Another common challenge is that there are quite a few sign-offs in the approval process. As we go through each of these stages of review, different managers and stakeholders have to review and sign off. Then we look at distribution and making sure that the right people can access the content. But not everyone needs full access, because some people may only need to view it for review purposes and don't need to have editing permission. So making sure that the right people have access can definitely be a challenge. And when we especially talk about large projects, think about something like an airport, a hospital. The volume of drawings that can be created from that one building number in the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. It is a challenge to be able to manage that kind of volume of data. And it's not just the drawings. There's so many additional documents that come into play when we talk about large projects. Think about some of the myths and common challenges. How does 3D Experience DraftSight provide a solution? Well, it all starts with the 3D Experience platform, which connects people, data, and ideas in a single collaborative ecosystem. Now, collaboration does come in many different forms. There's unstructured collaboration. For example, when we just communicate via instant message and email, but we're still collaborating with our colleagues, our teams, and other stakeholders throughout the entire project process. And then we look at structured collaboration, where we use formalized systems, which is something as simple as Excel, or a full-scale project development and management application to track all of the different tasks, all of the different milestones associated with a project from start to finish. Now, the beauty of 3D Experience Platform is that we get all the different capability to do both unstructured as well as structured collaboration in a single, unified environment. And there are a lot of different apps on the platform that allow you to do that collaboration, to work through the process, and to communicate with others. There's dashboards, there's communities, there's file sharing, there's project planning, there's full data management, as well as things like tracking individual team members' tasks, issues, and change actions. And we're going to see all of this in just a few minutes.
Let's take a look at how it works. Okay, jumping into DraftSight. So here we are in DraftSight 2022. This is 3DEXPERIENCE DraftSight Premium. As we can see, it is also called DraftSight Connected, as far as the application is concerned. So it is the exact same DraftSight like you would get on a desktop, except this is a 3DEXPERIENCE version of DraftSight. What that really means is that now, on the right side, we have a new task pane that connects us directly to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform directly from inside of the DraftSight application. So let's work through a few of the simple use cases on how we can manage our data, as well as manage our tasks that are related to the project we are working on directly inside of DraftSight. To start, I'm going to open up a drawing, one that I have saved locally on my PC. Alright, and that's open. We have, I would say, a very typical drawing, just a floor plan of a single-family home. The drawing is ready. As soon as we have it open, we can see that here, inside of the 3DEXPERIENCE task pane, the drawing is recognized. And we can also see the status. What this indicates is that this particular drawing is not yet stored in our data management system and is not yet stored in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. So, first step is we'd like to save it up into the cloud. So, thinking back to our myths, how do we move data from the desktop to the cloud? I'll show you. It just takes one simple click. So, I'm going to right-click on this particular drawing, and I can save it. What's happened right now is the drawing is being uploaded directly to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. As soon as the upload is complete, the status of the drawing automatically updates. So, we can see, if we hover over it, it says the file has not been modified since the last time it was saved into the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, which was just 1 second ago. Also, by default, when you upload a new drawing, it's reserved or locked to the user uploading, in this case, me. I can definitely unlock it so that it is available for someone else on my team to work on or review if needed. Alright, so now the drawing is no longer locked. As I mentioned, there is data management. What I mean by that is, directly inside of DraftSight, without having to go to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, without having to open any other application, we can start to manage the drawing, create new revisions, track the maturity or the life cycle state that that drawing is in. Additionally, we'll just go through that. Let's take a look at the maturity. So, right-click again, click on Maturity, and that will load our collaborative life cycle for this particular drawing. Because I just uploaded it, the drawing is in the in-work state. This can be customized, but I'm just using the out-of-box states that are available. So we have private, in-work, frozen, released, and obsolete. I can make that drawing private. And the maturity state is updated. So anyone else who could have access to this drawing or who's working on my team in the same collaborative space, they can no longer have access to this drawing since it is private to me. Or I can go ahead and release it. So I'll put it back into the in-work state, since we do go through a process as far as the transitions are concerned. And then we release this drawing. The drawing is now released. It's unlocked, and it's synced to the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Now, I am working through the right-click. That's a personal preference. You also have access to all those same commands here in the toolbar at the bottom. So, you have your lifecycle view and functions, as well as some additional tools, like tracking the relations, if you have a drawing with relations to other drawings, things like that. Additionally, through this task pane, I can create a new revision. Let's say that I've released this drawing, but now I want to make a change to it. Or perhaps I want to reuse this drawing for another client. So, I can create a new revision. And by default, because the first revision is A.1, the new revision is B.1. If I want to enter a comment, I can. And now, the new revision has been created. Now, I am still working in A.1, as that's the drawing that I currently have open inside of DraftSight. But as I make changes to it, let's do something very simple, like changing, let's just say, the line color of the doors. Very simple change. We'll save it, and as soon as I click Save, because this particular drawing is released, obviously making any changes to it requires creating a new revision. And when I do that, automatically it uploads that new revision directly into the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. And now that revision is C.1. Again, when it uploads, my default is locked. I can unlock it so it is available to everyone else. For now, I'll leave this in the in-work state. Now, one other very, very powerful tool that I can use directly inside of the task pane for the 3DEXPERIENCE platform is I can track tasks, so I can go more into the project management capabilities. I'm going to open my Compass. I'm going to open one of my favorite apps that I have, the Collaborative Tasks app. Here, I'm able to see all of the tasks that I've created or that I have assigned to me and what state they are in, whether they are in the to-do state, in work, or already complete. Now, I see there's a new task that I have to take care of for another project. In this case, I have to add dimensions. So, first, I can review the task by clicking on it and see all the details. In this case, a drawing is missing a few exterior wall dimensions, so we can easily add those. I will update this to in work, and I can also see that there's an attachment. So here's the drawing that I need to add dimensions to. We'll go ahead and open that directly inside of DraftSight. As soon as I use that Open With, the drawing is automatically going to get downloaded from the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and is going to open up inside of the DraftSight interface. Alright, here we are. So we have the cafeteria drawing for another project. And looking at this specific sheet, I can see that there are actually some dimensions missing. So we can quickly fix that if we jump over into the model space. And let's use one of the features in DraftSight, in this case, Smart Dimension. So click here, add that dimension. We'll add the dimension for this other wall on the side here. And I think there's one more dimension missing. Here we go. Just grab the entire length of this wall. Perfect. I will use this drawing. It is in work, so I can override it or I can create a new revision. I will just simply create a new revision. So the task is complete. The drawing has been uploaded, so the task is complete. The new version with the correct dimensions has been uploaded. So I'll mark this task as complete. Task has been changed. And I can go back to my session. I see that I'm working with that new revision I created, B.1, and we can call that a very productive day. So, in just a few clicks, I'm able to do everything I love to do inside of DraftSight, as far as designing and editing my drawings. Beyond that, I have a lot of additional capabilities with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to manage my data, to create new revisions, to manage the project, and the tasks associated with it, all inside of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform as well as inside of DraftSight. I have all these capabilities as far as data and project management in the cloud as well. So let's switch over to my browser and take a look. Here, I'm in the 3DEXPERIENCE platform inside of my browser. I can see all of the project files, including the two that I was just working on a second ago, the floor plan for the house, as well as the cafeteria drawing that I just updated to add those dimensions. Now, as I mentioned, you can do everything inside of DraftSight. Inside of the task pane, you can do all of that in the browser as well. Let's take a look at the maturity state of these drawings. I can expand my dashboard. I'll add the collaborative lifecycle app with a simple drag and drop. And we'll take one of the drawings that I was working on. I can see when it was released. I can see when it was created, when it was last modified, and all the revisions associated with it, as well as their states. Now, in addition to that, I have the same ability to change the life cycle. For example, with this drawing, let's say I want to freeze revision B.1. Clicking freeze will automatically update the drawing. And that's always reflected inside of DraftSight as well. So, it's always a real-time data connection between the work that you do in the cloud and the work that you do inside of the desktop application, which makes it much easier to be able to manage our data and to make sure that we're staying connected and in sync throughout the entire project process. Now, there's a lot more. So we can manage our data, great. We can also manage our entire project. If we jump over into the Project Management tab, we have the collaborative tasks, just like inside of the DraftSight task pane. And then we have Project Planning. Let me make this a little bit bigger so we can see clearly. Here, we can see our entire project from start to finish. If we put ourselves in the shoes of the project manager, working with the design team, everyone is collaborating together in a single environment. We can see our milestones, the tasks, what needs to be done, what's already in progress, what's been done, and whether anything is at risk of not being completed on time. We can track the burn down rate, how many resources are being used, who are assigned to the project, and which people have open tasks that need to be completed. I can see my task list using the simple swim lane view, as well as see the entire project schedule. So, here are all the tasks. I can see my timeline. This project was started last year. It's going into this year. And I have the same milestones as well as tasks planned for the months ahead. I can also see who's a part of this project. In this case, my extended team. Now, moving on, we have other content that's not just CAD files that relate to the project. Drawings, PDFs, documents, images, all that can be managed through My Documents. Here, I can see a list of the various files that I have associated with the different projects that I'm working on. I can track their maturity status. For example, we have a price list for the materials that we need for the project. And by highlighting and then clicking maturity, I can also make sure that this content is, for example, released. The price list isn't finalized. I want the team to see it. With one click, we're able to change the maturity of any documents associated to the project as well. Additionally, we can track our entire design process. If we have reviews that need to be done, we have access to all our drawings in our collaborative space. We can create bookmarks to organize our drawings, see what's locked, what's not locked by the various team members, and even track the various change actions associated to the project. The last thing that I would like to show is the ability to collaborate. As we know, collaboration is crucial to the project's success. We looked at some of the ways that we collaborate in a more structured form through the data management cycle, through the project management process. But unstructured collaboration is also crucial, where we can collaborate and communicate with our colleagues and with stakeholders. And for that, 3D Swim is the absolute perfect solution. 3D Swim allows you to create communities, whether by project, by job function, by department in the organization. You can create communities where you can track, communicate, collaborate, and manage the day-to-day operations of the company. Here, I can see a timeline view for any community. I have one for my design team called engineering, and I can see updates happening to that community. So, for one of the projects that we have, a render has been uploaded. There are various project files. We can even create annotations on various drawings and review. In this case, this drawing has a 40mm steel tube handrail, and we would like the design team to update it to a 30mm handrail. All that is possible. That collaboration process, all inside of one community. And everyone has a visibility with the right permissions. Now, this isn't limited to just engineering. We've talked about CAD for quite a bit. This can be used for the project management team to request status updates and track what's happening with the project. This can be used by the finance team to track the expenses related to the project for the fiscal year. This can be used by legal to track any agreements and share and upload documentation. By the sales department to track forecasts and to track their deals, whether in progress or just started working on a new opportunity, as well as for marketing, to be able to share design concepts and images for promotional materials. The facilities team, product development, and anyone else in the organization can use the 3DEXPERIENCE platform as a single source of truth to collaborate and to innovate together.
So, let's jump back into the presentation to wrap up. Alright, so let's wrap up with a few brief slides. We've just talked about how the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, combined with DraftSight, allows you to first address all the myths that we mentioned at the beginning, as well as work through the common challenges that we see, looking at the approvals and how we can create revisions for drawings, how we can release them, freeze them, make them private so we have full control of the maturity, how we can share throughout the communities that we have for each of the functions or for each of the projects that we're working on, and how we can make sure that the right people have access to the right content at any given time. To summarize, we start with drawing data management, which gives you the confidence and ensures that your mission-critical, your project drawings are never lost because they're all stored securely and safely in the cloud and accessible at any given time. Everyone has access to the right content, so you not have to worry about chasing down emails and revisions. Everyone knows what they are working on, and everyone can see the revision history for any given drawing. Everything is tracked and managed, and it is always a single source of truth. The other thing that we look at is project management. We're able to, as a part of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, work with apps, such as Project Planner, to completely execute your project from start to finish, making sure that everyone has visibility, everyone is working transparently, and everything is completed on time. So, with the 3DEXPERIENCE platform as a whole, we've been able to see how we can manage not just our drawings or CAD data, but all the documentation, the PDFs, the images, the vendor agreements, the construction paperwork, all in a single place throughout the entire project process. We're able to connect all the stakeholders, so we're always working on one data set, and everyone has full confidence and full access to be able to know what is happening with the project at any given time. Ultimately, the result is by leveraging the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. You're going to improve the productivity of your organization and the innovation that you're creating throughout the entire process from start to finish. Because you now have unstructured, structured collaboration, project management, data management, all as a single unified solution.
Now, with the remaining time we have left, I would like to share with you a few customer testimonies that provide real-world experiences of how people use the combined power of the 3DEXPERIENCE platform and DraftSight. To start, we'll take a look at how Columbia Construction Company, a construction firm located in northern Massachusetts, used the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to effectively collaborate with the Dassault Systems facilities team to replace a massive chiller unit located on the roof of the Waltham, Massachusetts campus. Let's hear from them now.
I'm sitting here in Boston over at the main campus where we just completed a chiller project that services both our data center and our second floor lab. We worked with Columbia Construction on this project, and it really, was a great experience on both ends to see this one go full circle.
Columbia Construction is a construction manager in Massachusetts and New England area. We do a lot in all of the sectors of construction, commercial, and medical, hospitality throughout the area. Columbia Construction was happy to use the 3DEXPERIENCE platform to help manage this project. I thought the program worked well. It was convenient, easy to figure out. We were able to communicate and access with the immediate team members and expand it out as necessary. A big challenge is drawing files, uploads, large files, and we were able to do that quickly during meetings live to be able to review them and answer the questions. So we had a challenge where the project phase had to be postponed due to a power outage. We worked around that. The communication was circulated and everybody was notified, and we came up with a rescheduled time and could communicate that out to the team.
Novia Project Planner was really key in the success of this project. We worked very well with Columbia to hit all of our goals.
Project Planner for rescheduling, we could notify the data center, we could notify facilities, we could notify the landlord that gave us access to the site, look at the drawings and explain what tasks needed to be done, what areas we needed to occupy, which areas were going to hear noise, or where they may see people walking through, or where we had to open ceilings to install piping.
We were all able to jump right on it, whether it was a call or just, a reply back to make sure that, everything was, gonna get back on track and, the day could be, kind of filed out.
So one of my favorite features of the platform was the reminders of tasks that I was assigned, and I could accomplish those and make sure that I was taking care of everything. I could check back and see that they'd been taken care of. Another thing the platform allowed us to do was to upload videos or comments to show. You can get a list of tasks that are completed, but I could also upload videos to show. So you could trust and verify off the platform.
I found the wiki pages was definitely a great feature that allowed us to send out and track our agendas.
Go back in time, you could look at meeting minutes.
Maybe you missed a meeting, but you could go right back on the platform. You could see what happened last week.
You could look at real conversations, notes, comments, concerns of people that are maybe outside of the immediate team, so you could get instant feedback and concerns of other people and be able to address those.
Just a very user-friendly tool that helped drive this project. We were able to engage with Columbia right from the beginning, bring them into, some new tools that, we were both learning. We were able to hit tight deadlines, kept on budget. Now we're able to look back and really analyze a lot of good data that came from utilizing the tools, so we can, really bring best practices into, future projects, which are right around the corner.
That was a great account of how two teams collaborated effectively through a single environment to complete a major project on time. Our next customer example is Place Taylor. Place Taylor is a construction development company for future housing. Let's hear from them on how they use the 3D Experience ecosystem to communicate and exchange data between teams from various industry sectors.
Place Taylor is a company that does development, design, construction, and research and development, all oriented toward what we call future housing.
So Place Taylor was started in 2008 by a handful of folks who were trained in different capacities, either architecture, construction, these sort of things. From a software technology standpoint, we're using tools today that were kind of built 20 years ago. For example, if you remember back in the early days of the internet, you had AOLs and CompuServe and things like this, but those were walled gardens or walled ecosystems where you couldn't even send a message from one service provider to another. Today, in 2022, that's like such a foreign concept, right? Because we've got all these different messaging applications that allow for interoperability. 3DES provides an ecosystem that allows for the exchange of information, which we find really, really intriguing.
What is still lacking is an understanding that the siloed industry needs to be broken down a bit. Some of those boundaries need to be broken down. Software that is only giving us the tools to work the way we have in the past are only going to perpetuate that momentum that isn't getting us to our better solutions. We need software tools that are understanding and have the sort of foresight and that help them make those communications, that bring together more closely the teammates from the other sectors. There are times when our bankers, our construction lenders, need to understand how we're approaching something in an innovative way on site. And so the better that not only we can help coordinate ourselves, but actually help those different pieces communicate and educate each other is really important, is really critical to our mission.
What we try to do is work with the communities that we're working in. And instead of, as developers, instead of just buying the property and displacing residents, we're able to enrich the entire neighborhood. It still maintains its ownership with the original owner. And it actually reinforces the neighborhood because the residents aren't being displaced.
We're very excited about our partnership with you because it's an opportunity to get beyond this sort of fighting the momentum of the past and a promise of having tools that are more responsive to the way that we know we're about to work, the way that we're already starting to work and want to be more efficient in. Having a partner who's creating the tools for us to do that is incredibly exciting and incredibly important, not just for us, but for everyone else who's trying to push the industry forward.
A lot of our projects, some of the smaller scale, but even highly complex ones, we can rely on the 2D graphic shorthand, if you will, to represent complex ideas in a very efficient way.
We don't see 2D representation and collaboration going away anytime soon. When documents become legal documents, clarity of communication is really key. We would like every building as soon as possible to be net zero carbon. We have a clock ticking globally, and our piece of the puzzle is to deliver a carbon neutral built environment. And what we believe and what we've demonstrated is that this can be achieved today with the right level of commitment and collaboration.
Thank you, Place Taylor. That was another great example of how companies need the ability to collaborate in a single and secure environment. Next, let's hear from our own Dassault Systems facilities team on how they benefited from the power of the 3D Experience platform.
So the reason we selected DraftSight for our team was the quick learning curve. We were able to bring all of our team members in right away and be able to work with our designer by giving their opinions, by giving their thoughts, by giving their suggestions, and by giving their feedback right away, right on the platform.
Main thing that I can say about using DraftSight within the team is the speed in which we can turn over drawings to our vendors, to our internal team members, to our corporate headquarters, and also in implementing those into our internal dashboard tools, which we use as a company to share information with our employees. It's really important to be able to accurately and quickly capture our floor plans, our offices, evacuation plans, space planning, finding your colleagues or a conference room. There's different skill sets of any functional team, and you want to be able to work collaboratively. The way in which we can do that utilizing DraftSight is the shorter learning curve and the faster ability to be able to work collaboratively to make the modifications, the changes that we need within our floor plans to produce end results that all of our employees can benefit from.
Since we've got them in that program, the evolution has been apparent and very obvious, where they're really able to start expanding their knowledge of the program and expanding their ability to use design programs. It certainly slowed us down having to work with our vendors and have them be the only members of our group and our team that could do the design work, because we'd have to reach out to them offline and allow them to go back and take the time to come back with an answer for us.
But also, how do we take that basic foundation of our office spaces and build that into the 3D dashboard tools that we use and share with different audiences, whether it's employees, whether it's customers, whether it's vendors that we're doing work with to improve our office environments.
Since we've integrated DraftSight, we're able to have those communications directly through the platform.
Whether you're on the road traveling to a new facility or you're on-site working through a project, you have the ability to work quickly and effectively without having to sit down, open up a PC, and start to coordinate different documents from different sources. So it really gives us the ability to swiftly and accurately work through the key components of projects while in the field.
We've had a couple examples where the request was responded to, and right away we were able to jump in and say, actually, that's not exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for a little bit of a different answer. And within minutes, the designer was able to go in and make the change right away, live on the platform, and convert the solution to exactly what we needed. Adding DraftSight has solved for us the ability for all of our team members to effectively use the planning tools and to use design tools.
Thank you, facilities team. Finally, I'd like to share one last customer example. Young Industries is a manufacturing company of material handling equipment located in the state of Pennsylvania. They have implemented DraftSight as their 2D CAD solution. So let's hear from them directly on how they have successfully transitioned to DraftSight.
Young Industries has been in business since 1947. We design and manufacture a wide range of products, mostly for handling powders.
Bulk material equipment manufacturer. We engineer custom made to order equipment for our customers. So everything we do is kind of a one-off, unique experience. We build equipment for hard to handle materials.
Mostly in the chemical and pharmaceutical and food industries. We have dust control equipment as well as metering equipment, a line of fluidizing, conveying equipment that we call stingers and transflow fluidization.
Our design engineering team is made up of approximately 6 to 7 engineers.
First of all, we are a problem-solving company. Customers come to us with applications that they can't solve.
Personally, I love Legos, and when we deal with customer projects, it's a lot of the same thing. Taking these little pieces, these standard building blocks, that you're putting them together in different ways based on the customer's needs to come up with this product, sometimes that you've never even thought of before.
We will design and manufacture systems so that they can put it in their process and solve the problem of conveying or handling their powders.
The CAD history at Young Industries, I mean, we started, I think as anybody did, drafting boards, pencils, etc.
We used to have a product called Mountaintop or AccuGraph. That was a 2D program with some 3D functionality.
When it got to the point that we could no longer really translate or get information in and out of, as we started to move to being a Windows-based company and not really being able to go between those two worlds, support, cost, just everything else, we decided we needed a better 2D CAD solution. We had already added 3D modeling with SolidWorks, so DraftSight was almost a no-brainer. We were able to go ahead and bring in a 2D CAD software integrated with SolidWorks, integrated with our PDM, easily able to deploy and manage. We didn't have to worry about, well, how many people and is this going to work?
Most people that worked here at the time were familiar with using the Mountaintop product. Just to get into DraftSight, they were able to catch on real quick just because it is easy and intuitive to use.
It fit and ticked all the boxes for cost, flexibility, just everything for us.
We primarily use SolidWorks to do all of our main 3D CAD designing, and with DraftSight we use that for geared towards plant layouts, process and identification, P&ID diagrams, as well as legacy drawings that we have in our library.
We were able to introduce the renderings right into our proposals, and the renderings, sometimes they look just as good as the photographs of equipment that we're manufacturing.
The biggest efficiency and time gain would be in the use of blocks and the attributes. Made our job really quick, really easy.
We'll get a DXF or a drawing from a customer. We're able to open that in DraftSight, take measurements, look at adjustments, insert models. We don't have to go back and start by redesigning it or redrawing it. We can go ahead and work with that product and then bring in some of our own models, our own 3D and things from SolidWorks together in DraftSight to develop a new drawing or a plan for the customer's application.
What we look for in a software vendor relationship is the support that is needed, and with the team at DraftSight, we feel like we have that at all times.
You're always looking to find the most efficient way to do things, and we can't do what we do at Young Industries without having both a 2D and 3D application.
Using SolidWorks and DraftSight, we're definitely able to prepare better quotations. We see that our quotations are better understood, and we have seen an uptake in business because of it. DraftSight and SolidWorks has been a great addition to that.
So, with that, I'd like to conclude with just one last slide, covering some of the resources where you can learn more about 3DEXPERIENCE DraftSight and DraftSight itself. You can visit our website, draftsight.com, where you'll find our product details for Professional, Premium, Enterprise, Enterprise Plus, and 3DEXPERIENCE DraftSight. We also have a great variety of tutorials where you can learn the latest features and learn the fundamentals of DraftSight. Additionally, DraftSight also has a YouTube channel, so I highly recommend you check out the various videos of DraftSight and its capabilities.
That concludes the 3DEXPERIENCE DraftSight session. Thank you everyone for attending, and have a great day.